and burn.
Hey everyone, so tonight I want to discuss one of my two absolute favorite Paranormal Activity movies, and that is the third Paranormal Activity, Paranormal Activity 3. Now this is the one that sort of raises the bar so high that the fourth one would have had to have been perfect in order to match it, and the fourth one was so far from perfect that I almost sort of, this series almost lost me completely. This movie, I absolutely love the third one. Like, I love how it shows the two female focuses of the series as children, and you get to see how you get to meet the grandmother, who's a horrible person. And I absolutely love, too, how the plot of Hereditary is essentially just a Paranormal Activity, and for some reason, nobody ever really said that. I didn't like Hereditary. I thought that movie was really dumb, and I thought that the son in it was really whiny. And it wasn't that clever. All it was ripping off the Paranormal Activities. Kind of disappointing, because it was. Hereditary was essentially the plot of the Paranormal Activities. Anyways, I just hate Hereditary, so whenever I get the opportunity to bash that movie, I will, because I can't stand it. Even though overall I don't like bashing movies, I really don't like Hereditary, and the fucking son, I just wanted to smash his face in with a goddamn hammer. So, anyways, I think my favorite part about this was how it was right around this point, around 2010, that everybody started to fall in love with the 80s again, and the 80s sort of became, I actually fucking said became sort of like the cultural focus. Everybody was like, oh my god, the 80s are so rad, we gotta fucking start aping the 80s, we gotta start, everything's gotta take place in the 80s, we gotta bring back 80s fashion, we gotta bring, well, they never brought back 80s music. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, people are still kind of low-key obsessed with the 80s as of 2022. And I will say that the music does not reflect that at all. But this movie was sort of like one of the first to sort of say, all right, the 80s are rad, we're taking it back there. The girl's got a Teddy Ruxpin doll. The boyfriend, he's a what is he, a wedding photographer, and he's got a camcorder because it was a big deal back then because of the home video market had boomed so large that you could get camcorders and VCRs, and you could start your own little like entertainment world if you wanted. So there were guys like the boyfriend in this, whose fucking name I can't remember. I really liked him too. What the hell was his name in this? I'm not going to remember. He was awesome. I really liked him. And so, of course, he's got camcorders, which means he's going to set up cameras all over the house. And that goddamn one that he sets up in the oscillating fan. God, I hated that camera so much, because you knew that it would go right and it would show nothing. And then it would go left and it would show nothing. And then when it went back right, you knew once it transitioned back to the left, there was going to be something there. And that was terrifying. That thing with the sheet, with the babysitter who looked like Debbie Gibson, that was so rad, because it just kind of shows up behind her. And as soon as she turns around, it just sort of deflates and hits the ground because, there's nobody in there. And I loved that. And that oscillating fan camera, that oscillating fan camera, I could probably discuss that for the entire length of this video. That made this movie so completely uncomfortable and yet riveting. Whenever they shot back to that oscillating son of a bitch, I couldn't take my eyes off the screen, because I knew you were going to see something when you least expected it. And that thing with the sheet was so rad. And then what happens to the mom at the end when she walks into the kitchen and all the furniture is gone, the table and everything, and then all of a sudden it just kind of crashes down from the ceiling. That actually managed to surpass the jump scare where it happened in the kitchen when all the cabinets opened and all the drawers and shit opened in the second one. I thought that was like the ultimate thing. And then when all the furniture and all the kitchen shit fell from the ceiling in the third one, that surpassed the jump scare, that ultimate jump scare in the second one, which was something I didn't think they were going to be able to do. And I did like how they end up at the grandmother's, and her place is A, huge, B, kind of twisty and windy, and it's got that corridor that leads here to this other building or this other room or whatever. And then I love at the end when the boyfriend's kind of wandering around the house and he's like, the pictures are off the wall and you see the midwife's triangular thing. And I loved how the midwife symbol was in the not the Etch-a-Sketch, the light bright in the girl's bedroom. And I also really liked where the girl's bedroom was. My girlfriend back in grade 10, that's where her sister's bedroom was. It was like, there were rooms around it with doors, but she lived out in the hallway. And it was totally her bedroom. It was strange, though, because whenever me and my girlfriend would be heading up to her bedroom for like Bible study and shit, we'd have to essentially walk through her bedroom. So she would always have to keep it really pristine. Like, you know, some people like will just leave like clothes and shit lying around. Well, if you're going to have constant foot traffic motoring through your bedroom, you probably don't want to leave like old underwear and like heroin needles, right? Because it's like, it's going to send a bad message. You know, your sister's boyfriend's going to be like, oh, dude, my girlfriend's older sister's a fucking junkie, you know? And that's how the rumor mill gets started, you know? She goes back to school the next day because we were all in high school together. And word's gotten out that she's this like junkie whore. And because, you know, people exaggerate. I never said a thing about her being a whore, but you know how kids in high school are. And it would get completely out of control. And that has nothing. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, that's right. The girl's bedroom being out in like the hallway upstairs. That's how I related that back to that. I also really liked that. I liked when Katie and the boyfriend's buddy are trapped in the bathroom playing Bloody Mary. And then Toby's like, oh, you think Bloody Mary's scary? Well, fuck that. Bloody Mary's not real. I'm scary. And boy, does he fuck with them huge. I thought that was rad. The only thing I thought was kind of dumb about this, and this is sort of the thing that I think is really dumb about all horror movies in this sense, like when the boyfriend is going to the mom with the very clear and very serious amount of evidence that he has, and he's got video proof, and the mom's like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. This is ridiculous. There's no Toby. And she just storms out, and he's like, oh, you got to listen to me. And then he just kind of gives up, and then the kitchen thing happens, and they end up at the grandmother's. And it's like, he never tries again. Like, I mean, if you've got video footage of some scary shit happening in and around you and the people you care about, and the other adult in the situation is choosing to sort of remain blind to that, you just got to leave. You have to look out for yourself. I know the girls are innocent and shit, but, you know, the boyfriend should have just left. Listen, honey, I think you're great. We're having a lot of time. You know, we're having a lot of good times together. Sorry, your house is beautiful. But I'm buying my video cassettes elsewhere from now on because you got a fucking demon in your family. I really didn't like the grandmother either. You know, we knew she was brutal from the first and second one. We knew there was something tricky about this chick. But then when you meet her in the third one, you're like, oh, there it is. There's the physical embodiment. There's the actor playing the part. Fuck, I really didn't like that woman. You knew what she was right away, too. Oh my God, this is like 8 minutes. I didn't even say anything significant. I fucking love the third one. Teddy Ruxpin. And of course, the Teddy Ruxpin is actually used because it's kind of dirty. Teddy Ruxpin freaked me out when I was a kid. What the fuck was Teddy Ruxpin? Was it a teddy bear? Because I don't think it was a bear. It was a bear-ish. But then it kind of had that old school sort of like value store smock the employees would wear on. And you had to put a tape in its back, and I really didn't like Teddy Ruxpin's voice. That was like fucking serial killer. I had fucking... Ugh. But anyways, look, I'm going to go. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for fucking 9 minutes. For 9 minutes while I discussed the third Paranormal Activity. If you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. And Jesus Christ, if you've made it to the end, do something nice for yourself. Because I am so sorry for rambling the way I do. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe. And we will see you guys really soon.